What's up, YouTube? I'm Mike, and today I'm back with my wife, Sarah. We're doing cooking and steroid cycle update video. So we're gonna be talking about Sarah's ongoing Primo cycle that she started at 24 milligrams per week in 2 individual 12 milligram doses. She started that how many weeks ago?
7.5.
7.5 weeks ago, and then you decided to drop down from 24 to 20 milligrams a week when?
Oh no, I can't remember. I think that was like at the 5-week mark. It was after the last video when somebody mentioned it, and I was like, duh, why didn't I try this for some of the negative sides? And so I split it.
Who was it mentioned that?
Oh, I thought it was somebody in the comments.
No, it's me.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to not give you credit. So I dropped it to the 20 twice a week, 10 milligrams twice a week, excuse me. And I can't tell exactly, I don't know 100% if it's that that it's a lower dose or that it's just kind of reached peak serum concentration. But some of my sides have changed. Excuse me. So I have, like I've been complaining about the acne, and it is still here, but much better. You can kind of see like my shoulders aren't nearly so bad as
Let's
they
see
were.
if we get any focus with that light. Yeah, so I shot like 350 pictures of her the other day for our various content sites, and I can tell you that she is right. The acne is far better here in the last week or so.
Yeah. And then also, the other thing that seems to be happening, and again, I don't know, golly.
A little raspy?
I got some in my throat. Excuse me. Although that does not seem to be changing the quality of my voice. My voice is changing because of the Primo, and it's changing a lot. And I actually recorded myself the other day when, when I was recording something for Mike's mom. Showing her the schoolroom, and when I listened back to it, I could not believe it. Like, it was so bad. My voice was so bad. So, but even you and Paul seemed to think it was pretty bad when y'all listened to it, like worse than, I don't know. It was not good, and I was not comfortable with it. So, but clearly I'm not so uncomfortable with it that I'm quitting, because I still am doing it. But I also have noticed that while I'm still very sexually interested, my sensitivity is a little bit reduced compared to what it was, although like maybe it's stabilizing, or maybe it's just that we have so much sex that, you know, there's only so much a girl can do, right? I don't know. So we'll see if that continues, but I still want it. So that's good.
So talk a little bit about how your orgasm response, latency, frequency, interest has been in general on the Primo.
In general, everything is better on the Primo, but during the come up, it was amazing. The come up was like fabulous, and it was easy and quick and frequent. But the longer that I'm going on the Primo, it's taking me longer to come the first time, but you know, keyword is first time. So it's taking me a little bit longer to get there, and then, but I'm very like, in fact, and I would even say that the orgasms have been a little bit weaker, although really great, just a little bit weaker. But again, I can't tell if that's because of the frequency of sex. I mean, I don't know how many orgasms you can have in a day and expect them to be so strong. So lately, I'm always having at least 2, sometimes 3 or more in a day.
And that's been true for how many consecutive weeks?
6.5.
Yeah.
7.
So it's really worth pointing out, any guy in the audience, just even as a man, surely you can appreciate that. You know, like we can be very orgasmic, but I mean, if you're coming multiple times a day, every single day, without pause for 6 consecutive weeks, there's going to be it's not going to be, you're not going to be pent up. You're not going to feel like, you take a couple days off and man, like it's raging again, which has typically in the past been a major limiting factor in our sex life as far as her orgasmic response. She could, come, 2 or 3 times from an act, and she could do it frequently, but she really didn't seem to want to. Like, she wanted to put a couple days in between. And you're saying it's taken like 6 weeks of 2 to 3 a day every single day.
Yes.
And you're just now kind of going, well, maybe I'm tapping out.
Well, and the thing is that even more so now, it's like, I keep saying, I've said a few nights, like, okay, I'm not going to worry about coming tonight. I'm just not going to, try to come. If I come, I come. But then we start getting into it, and it's like the desire is so great that it overcomes my desire to get pent up. And so I keep doing it anyway. But it's so, the physical response is so good that it's kind of hard to take a break.
So it's been enjoyable enough. So when you talk about diminishing quality, the quality is clearly high enough that in this state, you're preferring to go ahead and have another orgasm rather than do what you used to do, which was build it up.
Yeah. I would love to have it built up. I just can't seem to take the break, which is just so ridiculous.
Which is that's very roidish. Like I'm the same way. Like 100%. When I at peak sexual performance and I'm wanting it once or twice a day, it gets to the point where even I'm like, I'm almost doing this for the sake of doing it. It's almost become compulsive. It's like, yeah, it's great, and I definitely want it, and I'm definitely craving it for a myriad of reasons that are not just physical, but my body could definitely use a break.
Yeah.
And it's just like you say, like we start with pornography, and she plays with her toy, and it's like once you start that, it's pretty hard to just go, screw it. We'll just, so I think she gets into this state where, and so usually, it'll take 30 minutes of porn probably and play before she has her first orgasm. But that's not, that was pretty typical even in the beginning. I think that you think it's taking longer than it really is.
Well, I feel like, and I could be wrong, I wasn't timing it. I felt like in the beginning that it was like, 10, 15 minutes and I had number 1 down. But maybe I'm wrong.
I think that you're wrong. I don't know.
Although something else that we talked about last time was that I felt like the Primo was negatively affecting my self-lubrication, and I think it has. Like, it's definitely been an issue. But I feel like that's even getting better. Do you?
Yeah, it's definitely better.
Those
it's
first
definitely
couple
better.
of weeks were really disappointing, and I was nervous. I was like, if this continues, I'm not going to do this Primo if it makes the self lubrication this difficult. And then that seems to be getting way better.
Yeah, it's gotten better. It's gotten better to the point where we don't always have to use lube, and a lot of the times that we do, I feel like it's just almost just like so we don't have to interrupt. It's just like
it's just
like
for safe.
Might as well just throw it in there.
Yeah.
Probably don't really need it, but we can't know how long the act is going to go, and so better to just do it now rather than have to worry about it. When she's building up. Obviously, various positions that we do. The more exposed I am during the act, the more likely it is to require extra lubricant if we're like in very close proximity to each other's bodies, and I'm staying. YouTube's so weird. I'm staying inside her primarily the majority of the time. Then it's less of an issue. That's probably more than they need to know.
Yes. Then something else that we talked about last time, I think we talked about my laugh journal.
Yep.
And that I was just like, I was laughing a lot. Like, I was surprised at how much I was laughing and having a good time. That does not seem to have changed. Like,
no, I think your mood is great.
I feel like my mood is really good. I keep saying, like, I don't know if Mike has gotten suddenly hilarious or if he's just so much funnier on Primo. I laugh so much at everything he says. And it's not, like, I don't think he's that different. I think it's just that
I'm not.
My I just overall I feel lighter. I'm not as worried about things. I'm not as anxious as, although I did forget to mention this the first time. On the come up, I definitely had some anxiety, and I was talking to Mike about it. It was physical anxiety, and I was worried about it, and I was Googling it and seeing that can sometimes come with Primo, but it went away after the first couple of weeks. So that's really good, because that was another thing I wasn't willing to put up with, was the anxiety. But like in general, my anxiety seems to be better than it was before.
Yeah, so what she was experiencing is something that I may or may not make a video about today. There clearly is a massive misunderstanding in the steroid community about how long and short ester steroid hormones work. People seem to have this misconception that if you're taking an enanthate ester, it takes 4 weeks to start working. A guy told me the other day in the comments, he's like, aren't you concerned that it's going to take 8 weeks for the DECA to start working? That is a total myth, and I'm going to make a video about that. What she was experiencing that she's calling anxiety is when you first start taking an E ester, or any ester for that matter. Again, I'm going to cover this in detail, but when you inject, like for example, when she injects Primo E, her body reaches the maximum amount of that shot that's ever going to be in her blood is in her blood within the first 12 to 24 hours. Usually about the 24-hour mark seems to be where we lie. And so when that shot peaks in your system, and this is true of a lot of different compounds, it can cause something that feels very similar to anxiety. And it will be gone the next day, and then you'll feel good for a couple days, and then you'll do another shot, and then the next day it's like, oh my God, here's this weird anxiety that came back. And it is purely the hormone peaking in your system. And then usually with 3 or 4 weeks, it goes away. And the reason that it goes away is because that's when you actually reach peak serum concentration, stable concentration. But nevertheless, I agree. I think that your attitude, I think you've seemed less anxious. And I think that has also contributed to us fighting less than you were in the beginning. Because I think in the beginning you were a little hardwired. You were a little. You were a little tweaky.
Yeah, I was tweaky, and I was feeling very like there was just kind of a vibration. Like I needed to be moving. I needed to be active. I needed to be. I was very motivated, and I've still been more motivated than I was before. But it's kind of calmed down a little bit, so like I can sit and relax and feel okay about it, instead of like a lot of times at dinner we'll watch a TV show with Paul during dinner, and usually I can just sit there through the whole thing. Well, when I started the Primo, it became very much like, okay, I've got to get up and I'm going to do the dishes while they're watching that. Or suddenly I was like, you know what, I got to go to the grocery store, and I would just get up during the show and go pick something up from the grocery store, or go play a game with Allison. And that's not what I would typically do. And now I can sit through the whole show, through the whole hour-long show or whatever, and not have to be up and around. Although I'm not quite so lazy with it as I was before the Primo. So it's definitely helping with a lot of that. But
so basically, you are now far along enough in the cycle that you have reached peak serum concentration. So everything is stable. This is what you have in your blood right now is what you're going to have in your blood. This is the active hormone for the duration that you continue running it at this dose. And so in the weeks to come is when things either. Well, before we get into that, so how's your strength currently?
So my strength, in the beginning it went up like massively, like
meteoric.
Suddenly, yeah. So within the first couple of weeks, I went from, my bicep curls on that machine went up 30 pounds. Some of my leg lifts went up 50 to 90 pounds. Like there's a huge change. That seems to kind of have stabilized, or at the very least, like instead of going up by 15 pounds, I'm getting an extra couple of reps. And so it's definitely, I still seem to be making progress. I can see a difference in my physique, but I'm eating everything I want to eat. I'm eating at least one, sometimes two a lot of times 2 more meals a day than I was eating before Primo. And so I've got, my calories are way up. And then like last night I was hungry and we're in bed watching a TV show and I totally sat down and ate half a bag of chips and salsa. Like I didn't used to do that very often, I don't think. So I've been doing that kind of thing a lot more. I've been baking and, you know, I've even got butter out here to make cookies. Like I've been
eating brownies.
Yes. I've been eating a lot of trash, plus extra meals. My protein's up, but so's everything else. So I'm hoping that in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to start cutting. Or in a few weeks, I'm gonna cut and see, you know, what all I've built underneath and what I can really get out of it. But I'm not where I was, you know, before when I was on testosterone and Anavar. My physique is not, but the size of my arms and stuff, Kat, if you bite me again, quit it. But the size of my arms are, but not the cut, not the dryness and the...
You just don't have the conditioning.
The conditioning, that's right, not the conditioning.
So, again, we have a Discord page, a Discord, whatever it's called, channel now. You can go to my channel page and you can check out the Discord. There is I'm new to Discord, so I don't know the proper terminology. There's a thread or a channel in the informative section called Fan Site Announcements. If you want to see basically what her body is looking like, right now I have pictures posted on there. I'm going to post some more today that they're non-nude. They're like, you know, bikini or like little lingerie pictures that show the condition of her belly basically. So you can see her shoulders are capped. You can see her triceps are coming through. And if you compare those to older pictures, or Instagram is another good thing. If you go to Denna Kahlin, DennaKahlan, again, all these links are on my channel page. If you go to Denna Kahlin on Instagram, you can scroll through that feed and you can see what her abs look like way back in the day when she was on Anavar and she was cutting. And so the thing that's really amazing to me is she's eating like me. She's literally eating whatever she wants. And you can see from these pictures that she is an absolute striking distance of having abs. Her belly is totally flat, but you can see that she's not as dry and she's not quite as lean. And so she doesn't have the sexy little 4-pack that she's capable of having, but her body looks phenomenal for somebody who's basically in the middle of a bulk.
And I'm up 8 pounds since this started. So yeah, so you can go to the Discord if you want. I'm probably not going to clip pictures into this video. This is just informational video about what she's going through. So if you want to see, you know, kind of current pictures, you can go to Discord or Denna Kahlin on Instagram. One other thing I think we mentioned last time was that I was sometimes having like a little bit of irritability with the kids, even though like everything was light and fun, but I was like, my motivation or whatever, I was needing them to be more motivated, and I'm not having that anymore, really, I don't think. Do you?
No.
Okay. So,
I think your mood is very stable.
Yeah. So I don't seem to be having that. I have a lot more patience than I had at the beginning.
You know, there's a combination of things. One, like her mood I think is definitively more stable, which is what you would expect when she reaches stable serum concentration. I also took 200 milligrams of Tren out of my cycle, and so I'm in a decidedly better mood. And even when the Tren, you know, you guys see my Tren rant videos, I'm actually nowhere near like that all day long. But what I am is very high intensity, high energy, because the sympathetic drive is basically constantly going, and Sarah is very, very sensitive to that. She can be sitting next to me in bed and she can just feel my brain twisting or blowing and going, and that has a tendency, I think, to kind of get her amped up. And so it's like I can be so driven that I increase her drive and we kind of start feeding off each other. And that's a mind fuck for anybody. Anytime your emotional state is being controlled by somebody else's emotional state, then you feel very out of control. And most people, when they get into a state of feeling out of control, I mean, that's when problems arise. And so with her being stable on her dose and me, you know, cleaning out off mine, things in the house are very, very calm. There's a lot of joy and laughter, and we spend a grotesque amount of time together in bed watching TV and hanging out and shooting pictures and all that. So
something else I think is important to mention is that my period is weird anyway because I'm perimenopausal, but I usually have something to speak of, and since I started the Primo, even at that very low dose, I haven't had no period at all. So that's a bonus.
Winner. That's so far, man. That has been amazing. Like she said, we had her periods dialed down to where we solved her PMS problem with hormone replacement therapy, but the Primo has just, I mean, it's been the final piece of the puzzle. It seems like it seems to have knocked her period out. It seems to have stabilized her mood. One of the things I complained about in my video when we shot a video about, she recorded a video about her experience with the Primo, and I had recorded one saying that she'd been very distant and very standoffish and like ghosting me, and all of that has gone away. So we're in a really sweet spot right now, with the exception of one thing, which is sort of the elephant in the room, and you mentioned it already, and there it is right there.
It's my voice.
And it's your voice.
Yeah.
And so talk a little bit more. I mean, you kind of jokingly said earlier, like, I'm really concerned about my voice, but clearly I'm not stopping. So like, where are we at there?
I don't know. Every time I'm like, the other effects are so good. The positive effects I feel like on our relationship, on my workouts, on my general mood, on my everything is so good. What do I care if my voice goes? And then I listen to it like on a recording and I want to cry. And like you said, it's not that it was so feminine before, but it still was better than this. And so, I don't know. I told Mike, I was like, I'm at a point I'm afraid where on the phone somebody's not going to know if I'm a ma'am or a sir. And it doesn't feel very good, like, as a girl. I wish I would have thought, and if anybody else is doing this, I would definitely recommend to do like this is
before
Sarah,
and after.
this is week 1 on Primo, and do it by week, some kind of voice recording so you can really tell and keep track of the difference. I feel it. It feels dry and inflamed in here a lot, and I felt it long before I could hear it. And I can hear it some to myself, but it's really when it's recorded that's so bad. But also I've been noticing, like, every night I read to my daughter. We're reading Harry Potter, so we read a chapter or so every night. And whereas usually I could sit and read out loud, I used to be able to sit and read out loud for hours. But now I get through half a chapter and my voice is wearing out, and I can feel it's just getting so tired. I'm having to drink, and so it's definitely affecting it altogether. And I did find some things online that I'm going to try, and I haven't started. But there are some like vocal exercises that they give to men who are transitioning to be women, because obviously more estrogen does not change your voice to the more feminine. And so there are vocal exercises they give to try to help them bring up their voice. And I'm going to try those and see if it makes any difference, because I really don't want to get off the Primo. In fact, I don't really want to cycle the Primo. Like, I want to live on it. So for those in the audience that are, Sarah was going through comments on one of our old videos about her squirting, and catching up on all the stupidity people say and the attacks that they make on me for putting her through this or exposing her in some way. I want to be very transparent for both Sarah and for posterity's sake, and for this video and for educational purposes. Every single thing that Sarah is describing right now as far as her voice goes is suggestive of the fact that her voice is in the process of permanently changing. So when she said she felt it before she heard it, that's a sign that the DHT or the androgen is affecting her vocal folds, and it starts causing the hoarseness, the raspiness, and then the next step is that you start hearing it.
And one of the things that is happening that's rather interesting to observe is her voice is changing in the same way that my son's just changed. And so it varies from day to day, and it varies from time to time during the day. So there can be moments in the day where I'll be like, oh, she actually sounds totally normal, or more like herself before this cycle. And then there'll be moments where it's like, holy shit, she just hit a fucking bass note. And it comes and goes. Just like a child in puberty, their voice doesn't just change overnight. It's like this breaking down process. And
mine does some of the squeaky and cracky like his does too.
So I want to be transparent with the audience, and I want to be transparent with you, because we've had this situation before. So Sarah's run androgens before, and we've gotten to this place where her voice started experiencing this. And I want to be transparent in saying this is a point of no return.
Yeah.
If you stop right now, there is a chance that your voice will recover some. It's not going to go back to normal, but it will stop the change. And in the same way that when you go on an androgen cycle, you tend to see an increase in hair growth, and then you get off, and then the hair growth subsides. Your voice potentially could improve some if you stop right now, but if you go, another 6-8 weeks, whatever damage is going to be done will be permanent.
If I could know that it was going to be this and it wasn't going to continue, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
It's the problem is I can't tell if it's going to get worse and worse and worse.
And then you have the compound issue of if you already don't like the way it is, and you know that stopping, it's not going to get any better, well, that's something that I face.
What do I care?
I face the same thing. My back hair is getting out of control. I know that if I keep doing androgens, it's going to get worse. But it's kind of it's already at an annoying point.
Yeah.
So do I take out the trend that I love so much, and to have less change in hair growth where I'm already shaving daily now as it is? That's the whole debate. At some point you get to this place where you've done enough, call it what you will, damage, or you've changed your body to the degree that it's well, shit, maybe I am beyond the point of no return. So one of the things I wanted to ask you about, assuming that you decide to stay on, and assuming that your voice either, this is the new normal, or potentially gets worse. I know we talked about this in the past video, and you were like, "Are you trying to get me to do trend?" No, I'm not. But what I am considering for her, I started taking DECA a little over a week ago, and again, like I said, I'm gonna make a video about this. Despite the fact that it's a very long ester, I am already getting the joint relief in the gym, and that's something that plagues Sarah's workouts, is the joint problems. And so, I have considered having her try adding or swapping or whatever. One of the things we talked about is maybe next time, letting her finish this Primo cycle and let her cut on Primo, and then the next time she wants to bulk, maybe bulk on a very small amount of DECA, so that she can grow and get some of the joint support that is really imperative in a growth phase. Being that DECA is a semi-female friendly hormone, what are your thoughts of potentially adding that to the mix at some point for joint support?
I think that's something that I haven't researched at all. I haven't read anything about it, so I would have to do that. But I think that if my voice is already fucked and my hair's not falling out and stuff, would I be willing to try it for joint support? Maybe. I think more likely I'm gonna try the BPC 157 again and see if that helps some. I don't know. It's not so, the joint problems aren't so bad like they were before, but I can hear my knees cracking on the leg press. I can hear them cracking even over my headphones. So I feel like it's reverberating throughout the gym. But my shoulders and elbows aren't as bad as they were
Pause. So your shoulders and elbows weren't as bad as they were.
Yeah, were as bad as they were when I first started on steroids at all. And so, I don't know. I would be willing to read about it and consider it for the future. It's not a hard no, but I don't know enough about it to make a decision.
Yeah.
Or to get pinned down on camera.
So, yeah. So, are you feeling generally miserable right now?
No.
Would you consider, so you're in a happy, upbeat mood right now. Mm-hmm. You're not being forced to make this video against your will. One of the things we see in the comments with Sarah's videos, and again, like I've become too sensitive to the comments because the trends are flowing in my system. But often people will make this remark that, oh my God, she looks so miserable. And it's like, what is she supposed to do? Like, what would you like her to do? Would you like her to dance a jig while she's cutting meat and talking about Primo and voice changes and all of the things? Like often in these videos, it's like people act like because you don't have an SSRI induced perma smile on your face that you must be just a miserable human being, or I'm just a monstrous person to be around.
Maybe I have resting bitch face and I didn't even know.
Maybe you have resting Primo face.
Resting Primo face?
I definitely have resting trend face. I will admit, now that
You have resting trend face when you're not on trend.
I will admit, I told her this in the gym the other night. We were talking about the expression on her face. I've had a problem with Sarah in the past when I was much more insecure than I am now, because she would be very facially emotive to anyone she came into contact with. And I'd be like, why are you smiling at all these fucking dudes that walk by? You don't need to be smiling at every guy that looks in your fucking direction. You smile at some dude, he thinks you're fucking coming on to him. And when she's on Primo, she smiles at fucking nobody in the gym. So I love it.
I don't know if that's Primo or it's just
You've just been beaten down.
Self-preservation, so we don't have a fight.
She don't even look at dudes afraid I'm gonna have a fucking meltdown.
I know there are a few men in that gym that they are there every single time we're there, making zero progress, and I look at them. So I know they think I'm so rude because it's like we see each other several times a week, and every time I'm like trying to look anywhere else but them.
And if there was ever a place that you could feel comfortable talking to the dudes, it's at fucking Planet Fitness.
Oh my God. So I just want you to know
zero
if
fear
you're
in that place.
Fitness, and I don't look at you, it's because I'm afraid of my husband.
Oh my God, are you gonna be
blink
okay?
Twice.
Blink twice for help.
Just kidding. I don't mean to make light of people who are really going through stuff.
Yeah, but
I kind of do it. I'm not making light of them. I'm making light of this.
And it doesn't matter what we do because people are they're still gonna be like, oh my God. Oh my God, this miserable woman. Look what he's done to her. She's not good enough for him the way she was, and now she's destroyed her voice, and she's a perfect body, and I'm a fat fucking.
At the end of this video, somebody's gonna say that that Mike's a terrible husband, he's a terrible dad, and somebody else is gonna say, I just love the way y'all interact, and y'all seem like such a solid couple. And so, shout out to all of you. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
We can't win. But it's fun nevertheless. So, anything else that you would like to say on the topic of where you were at week, what are we calling this, 8? Week 7-ish?
7.5.
Oh my God, 7.5 of Primo that is now Primo 20 milligrams per week.
I think we've pretty much covered it. I would say, I was going to say earlier when I was saying that somehow you're funnier than you usually are on Primo. Mm-hmm. The Primo also makes him way hotter.
Oh my God, she's all over me.
I know, and I'll be like...
It's great.
I'll be like in the gym, and I'm like looking at him across the gym. He doesn't even know I'm looking, and I'm like, catch myself like, dude, that guy's so hot, and he's my husband. And so it's really nice. Like, it feels good all the time.
We're in the middle of this disgusting love affair around here. Like, I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, then you see that I created this like little montage of pictures that I took of Sarah and set it to the tune of "This Is Why I'm Hot." Just because like we're in the, I don't know, we're just in a really great time in our marriage, and we're kind of both in this little puppy love phase where maybe it's roid induced. I don't know what's causing it. Maybe it's just the volume of time that we spend together, but we're both just like obsessed with the way each other look, having great sex, having a great time together, and
having fun co-parenting, and
it's just like a winner lately.
Yeah, everything's been really good.
Man, maybe I shouldn't do Trin over 100 milligrams ever again.
I just want to be clear that the last time that there was a video that you were like, the Primo's the greatest, whatever, and I was like, you're gonna screw it up. I might get here, knock on wood.
We have a fight the next day.
The next day we have a fight. So stay tuned for tomorrow. There's probably be a Trin rant about me.
Yeah. Well, what else?
That's it.
Anything? Should we say anything about the fan sites on this video?
Do whatever you want, my love.
I think we beat that point to death enough. Okay, well,
if you like these videos, share them with your friends.
Yeah, that's one thing I would like to say is if you're a female in this, if you're a female still around at the end of this video, please share this content with other ladies. Please join the Discord. We have a ladies only section in the Discord. We're trying to get Sarah some new friends to interact with, and we're trying to, that's really annoying for the camera.
Sorry.
And we're trying to spread the word of, there's a lot of girls out there that are trying to do cycles and learn about these things. And so hopefully this video reaches you, because we know exactly what you're going through if you're trying to find useful information. There is none. And so my wife has been nice enough to start guinea pigging her body for this channel and for science and for posterity. And so ladies, please feel free to make your voices heard in the comments section with any questions. Get in our Discord if you want a little bit more private way to contact Sarah. If you need any help with any of those things, then we are here to help.
Or if you are married to or dating someone who is cycling and you would like some women to talk to some other women who have been there or are there, because that's not always easy either.
Yeah, guys, if you're watching this video and your girl, get your girl in our Discord. My wife will hook you up. She will look at that. Look at those quad cuts.
Coming.
Hey, wait a minute. My girl will hook you up. I think that if you're a guy that's cycling and your girl does not understand what you're going through, having another woman to kind of reassure her that this is temporary, this is what you can expect, here's some coping mechanisms, don't take everything he says or does on cycle personally. It's a lot of it's the roids talking. I think it can go a long way to helping you to protect your cycle with your spouse or significant other. So we are a resource for everyone. So I think that's it.
I think so.
As always, thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you on the next one.